Do it.
See how things are going. Where did I start it? Over there.
Oh.
I believe we're live.
La 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 live. Let me check. Let me check on my end to make sure, Make sure you're not feeding me any wooden nickels.
Oh, don't worry. You're okay.
There we go.
Right, let's shrink that down. Wow.
Oh,
Hello.
Enjoy the, the 0.22 cents I'm giving you in monetizing right now.
I do appreciate. Yeah, I gotta say one thing.
It's giving me the 2 videos now, you asshole.
What do you mean the 2 videos?
It just served me 2 ads in a row.
You're welcome.
Stupid.
I gotta say the one thing, like you're the only the only person viewing right now, so it doesn't matter. Oh, we got a second. Hey, look at that. These live streams don't make anything. Like
Other
nothing.
than this, the occasional super chat.
Yeah, like you get a super chat in, that's cool. But the whole point of doing a live stream isn't really to bank, right? It's more to just kind of, I don't know. I enjoy just sitting down and chatting. It kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off of the constant hunt for a video or the hunt for making a video. And
it's a more relatable content form, and it's interactive, and I think it's just.
Well, it's also there's things that like you're not going to do a video about, but I would love to talk about. One is
there's like little tidbits.
Yeah, like one is Audacity being bought, and yes, we'll stick to the information as we have posted. Now today we've got anyone that's interested top 5 mics under. I think we're going to do $100. We'll kind of go back and forth and pick 1 or 2 that we like, and SM58 doesn't count. We'll keep the SM. I know, right? That's the easy answer. Also, I got a new job. I am, because of this channel, I was offered a job. Well, because of the channel plus a few contacts, I was offered a job teaching how to podcast with local college here in Ottawa. So that's going to be kind of cool. And, of course, we do have what we've named the stream after is, Audacity has been bought by somebody I didn't think was going to buy it. Ultimate Guitar, which are kind of the king of tabs. So start out with that now. And neither of us are Audacity users.
I have it. I use it.
Do you actually have Audacity on your computer?
I do because it does one thing that the other DAWs don't do.
What's that?
Which is, I think, still so stupid. It makes recording foldback audio from your system's output really easy.
Oh.
Because it mounts, like you can actually record, you can record like without having to do any weird fold back. Like I have a board, so obviously I could just fold it back through the input. But this just does it digitally, so it just takes the digital output. So no analog conversion, no coloration. So for example, if I need to record a reference track off Spotify for levels, I can just use the foldback, and the built-in Audacity foldback function, and do it through that.
USB pass through. That's common standard on most.
What?
USB pass-through. It's the exact same thing. It's a channel for your USB pass-through. So whatever's on your computer, you can just shuttle through a channel.
But what if it's not USB?
Well, okay, that's just what it's called. But
okay.
See, what did I tell you? We're going to start the stream and my dogs were going to start going nuts. I told you this.
You got a soundtrack. Hey, I didn't push you to start the stream.
I knew it. I was waiting because I knew my dogs were just going to go nuts as soon as I hit start. And there
well, it wasn't
they go.
As soon as. It was like, 5-minute delay.
How loud is that? Is that clear? I just made a weird sound with my mouth.
It's audible. It's not like muffling you, or like it's not crazy.
Oh, dogs. Anyways, Audacity. Yeah, no, there's a USB pass-through, so I'm able to route the computer audio through a separate channel.
Yeah, but what do you mean USB pass-through?
Like, that's what it's been called on. That's what they called it through on the PreSonus, and that's just what I refer to it now. Here, I'll open up my.
Oh, you're talking about in Studio One?
No, just on my interface, man. They call it USB 1.2 on AudioFuse Control Center.
Oh, you got one of those weird little apps. Yeah, if you have one of those, it works.
Well, no, even with the Scarlett, I could do it.
But my interfaces don't have an.
I know,
a mixer like that.
But most people that would be using something like Audacity would have that on their interface. Most interfaces have some sort of way to be able to record your computer audio?
Newer, probably.
Yeah, newer. I know I had it on the Scarlett 2i2. I had. Oh wait, or did I have to do the wraparound with that?
I mean, you can like within Windows you can do.
Yeah, no.
Like, if you want to listen to what's like if like there's a fold. Well, no, that's input monitoring.
The Mackie mixer did it. They had a button. It was a USB pass-through button on the Mackie mixer. It was called a USB pass-through button on the PreSonus as well. I mean, it made it super simple, and it just routed it through one of the channels. So, single little button there, man.
Yeah, well, that's using a stupid little mixer.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess not a lot of people are using Audacity in the situation you're in.
Right? No, I literally just if for some reason one of my interfaces conks out and I need like my boss frequently sends me stuff to rip off YouTube. So I'll just use Audacity.
The radio life where that's actually normal and everyone just does it, right?
Yeah, well, it's usually just like sound effect crap. It's like, I don't think I've ever done it for a music bit. I think it's literally just like video effects. Like video clips. So if he's using like a clip of a movie and imaging and he's using audio, he'll do that or sound effects, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so here's the story. Ultimate Guitar, the company known for basically guitar tabs for the longest time. If you play guitar, you would know Ultimate Guitar because that's where you get the multitude. You know the worst part is about Ultimate Guitar? None of the tabs are ever right.
No, that's why I don't use it.
Well, I know, but
I just listen to the record and transcribe it manually.
Well,
it's a lot more reliable.
You need an ear for that, though. Like
you do. But if you do have an ear for it, it's certainly more reliable.
Well, my issue is I've never been the type to play covers. I like writing my own music, so I've never really, I learned with tab. I learned with official tab books, like I had the old Metallica tab books and all that stuff. But then once I was done with that, I just never used tab anymore. I just played.
I think I dabbled with it a little bit, like years and years and years and years ago when I started playing guitar and had no idea what I was doing.
Well, it's great for learning.
Not to say that people who use tabs don't know what they're doing. But at my stage, that was like, and then I sort of realized what you just said, which is that they're not, a lot of times they're not like remotely accurate.
Yeah, I remember learning how to play Cold Gin by Kiss. That was one of my favorite songs when I was younger. And I found the tab, and it was a tab that I bought from the music store because before the internet, kids, you had to go and buy tab, which was ridiculously expensive. But it was an unauthorized tab, and it was completely wrong. And I ended up having, like, I paid like $20 for that one song to learn how to read it. Anyways, tab is great for learning.
The only time I'll usually do that is like actually, like music released by, like sheet music released by the publisher that published the song.
Well, because you're supporting the artist.
Well, that, and it's also pretty much guaranteed to be at least mostly accurate.
Yeah. No, I still own the Eric Clapton Unplugged book. That was one of still, I don't know if I still am a Clapton fan after all the crap he's been doing over the past year, but watching Clapton's been one of my dream guitars. Like, I love Clapton.
Oh yeah, Eric Clapton's a really, really good guitar player. Classic.
The Unplugged album was one of the first that really made me wanted to sink my teeth into acoustic. So yeah, that's one of the classics that I have. I also have a Garth Brooks one that was Metallica from way back, all that are completely above board, and because you don't want to support the artist as well, right? Anyways, These guys now own the very thing that you love, Audacity.
I don't love Audacity. I use it for one thing.
I'm referring to the people. Now, I think this is going to be one of two ways. Now, Audacity's been around for 21 years. It's
you know what? It still looks like
it does. It's horrible.
Like, I hate to say it, but you know what? Again, for a free tool for now.
Oh no, it's amazing for a free tool. Like, it's absolutely amazing. 100 million downloads of Audacity. I've had one of those just because I wanted to learn it so I could talk about it. That was way back, I think 2 years ago, and yeah, it doesn't feel the most user friendly.
You know, it's funny. I'm in Audacity right now. I just opened it up and I tried to Like I normally in pretty much every DAW, when you hit new, it gives you like a dialog box. So like, okay, do you want to do a new session, a new audio file? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
But you hit new in Audacity, it literally just opens another window. I'm like, well, that was unexpected.
Like I've honestly, and it's just never been something that I've needed to learn because I've always used Adobe Audition. Actually, I started out with Sony SoundForge, which was, not a legit copy of Sony SoundForge, but those were one of those copies that was always passed around, and you got.
I used SoundForge back in the day. Actually, SoundForge until I'm on Adobe CC now, but SoundForge as a single track destructive editor.
Oh
it was actually really good. And then who bought Sound? It was Sony.
Yeah.
And then I believe Magix GmbH bought SoundForge.
Isn't it packaged with Sony Vega or Vegas? Sorry.
It was, but then Sony sold off all of their creative software.
See, I've been out of Sony because I know a buddy of mine swore by Sony Vegas. I've never really
honestly, my first DAW that I ever used, we're going to get a little bit of Dylan history lesson here. First DAW I ever used was Magix Music Maker.
That's amazing.
2000 not even 2000. I don't know what year it was, but I was 10. I was 10 years old.
See, I'm going to dwarf you in that one. By the way, if anyone's listening, what's the first DAW you remember using? The first DAW I ever used was a Magic product. It was called at the time eMagic Logic.
Was it Magic or Magix? Like with an X?
No X.
Okay.
So this was a Mac version, right? You're talking about the Mac?
No. Magix Music Maker was I think there's probably a version available for Mac, but it was a Windows product.
I thought that you were talking about the in-between between before Logic became Logic Pro X. Way before. It was owned by a separate company that only worked on Macs. It wasn't owned by Mac. Yeah. Mac bought them and turned them in, or Apple turned them into their own kind of.
I'm gonna be that guy. It's not
PC. Mac. It's Apple. So my buddy of mine, actually, I just Marvin Fulton back years ago. I actually just reconnected with him on Facebook, and him and I sat down and we wrote 2 songs. Just one day, sitting in his bedroom, and we started playing around with eMagic Logic. We banged out 2 songs, and they were awesome songs for the day. And then I was, from there, I touched Adobe Audition 3.0 was the next time I really got into editing after Sony.
I have to say, like, I'm just putzing around and recording you talking into Audacity, and like the multi-track functionality is just not intuitive.
No?
I mean, it's not to me. I'm gonna, obviously there's people that I'm sure are whiz at this thing because they use it like a million times a year. But like I just realized that it can do multi-track because there's not like a really obvious way to make tracks other than the track menu, add new, and then it just spits out other tracks. But
I've used it a couple times, like just the idea of being able to adjust the volume on a track or the gain on a track or the volume on the track really has been frustrating because you never know how much. Like you add 2-3 dB and you're like, oh, it's too much. Okay, Control Z. I've never enjoyed that. I've always liked the experience with Adobe Audition.
Yeah, I as much as I don't, the one thing, and I've always said this about the difference between my 2 main DAWs, which are Audition and Pro Tools. I said one's strength is the other one's weakness, and that is that Pro Tools not flexible. Pro Tools is set up the way it is. The keys are mapped. You can't change them. There's no changing shortcut keys in Pro Tools. In Audition, everything is flexible. You can move stuff around. You can add your own shortcuts. In Pro Tools, it's nice because if I walk into another person's studio, everything is just exactly where it was in any other studio, so it's fine. With Audition, I found, like at a radio station, for example, you got 5 producers, each one of them with Audition. Every single one of them has a different layout.
Oh yeah.
Like some people have the sonogram showing up, some people don't.
Yep.
Some people have the files over down in the bottom corner. It's
I love that aspect of it though. You can set it up the way you want it.
But in a personal environment, it's good because you're the only person ever using your system.
Yeah, no,
but in a
true.
commercial setting, it's a pain in the ass.
So Audacity being bought by Ultimate Guitar. Now I see this going one of 3 ways. One is Audacity is turned into a parking lot and nobody ever uses it again. A virtual parking lot. So they bought a business just to steamroll it, and it's never going to exist. I don't think that's going to happen. Number two is they're just going to turn Audacity into some slightly better software that might have some integration with recording music, because it is Ultimate Guitar. So maybe there's some transcription options with it. Maybe there's something like that. But it's another thing that they can add on to kind of their list of properties they own. That's also doubtful. Number three, it becomes a paid service.
Yes. Okay. So this is where I'm at business-wise. I'm looking at this as a business case. So do we know how much? Maybe you and I should both look this up. How much did they buy it for?
I remember seeing it, and I remember going, yeah, that makes sense.
Did they stipulate a number? Like, I should say, did they disclose some kind of a figure?
I think I remember seeing it, but I can't find it right now. Now, I should tell you, they're saying, these are the notes, Daniel Ray stepped in to address the comments section of everybody going nuts over this. Audacity will remain 100% forever with no feature tiers or limitations. That is straight. I wouldn't believe that for the life of me.
So here's where I'm at. If there's no money that they're going to be getting out of, because they've bought it. They use the buy, purchase, those words are being used, which means there was money exchanged. There's no revenue stream for Audacity. So unless they're going to start either injecting ads or finding a way to mine data from usage and then
what are they going to mine
another
data from? I mean, it's podcasters.
Podcasters, I don't think many. Well, I'm sure there are some musicians that probably try to use Audacity.
Oh, I mean, it's a great starter. It's basically the GarageBand for PC.
It has to stay, although I'd argue the GarageBand is much more feature equipped.
Oh, huge.
Yeah. Huge. But we have to also factor in that a GarageBand comes with like $2,000 computers. So it's not really free.
No, if you own a Mac, it's free.
Oh, yeah, just like everything else. But again, I don't think of it as free. I think of it as prepaid.
Well, no. You know what I would say? I would say Logic Pro X at the discounted price you get it for would be prepaid. Like looking at Final Cut Pro, you get them for like $250.
Even looking at their productivity software, whatever the Pages, Keynote numbers.
Yep.
GarageBand, iMovie, like these are all pretty high-end products for what they are, for the fact that they're technically free or there's no added subscription fee associated with them or anything. But I still do think that part of the cost of the software is bundled in with the price of the hardware.
I mean, to a degree, you still get a Mac. And if you need a Mac, if that's something you want to use.
Yep.
I mean.
Oh, yeah. And you get all this stuff essentially for no added cost.
Like my wife bought a Mac. She got GarageBand free because she has no use for GarageBand. So, I mean, to a degree, I think it is kind of a bundle.
This gets into the story. Do you ever hear about, and this is getting sort of off-channel topic, but you ever hear about Windows Refund Day?
Refund Day? Is that Vista?
Windows Refund Day? No, this is much before Vista. I forget what day it is. Maybe somebody who's a computer nerd like me in the comments.
We have two people in here, and not a single person.
One of them is me. Yeah, I know. One of them is me.
I don't think we've ever had a Friday like this where we've been so desolate. Is there something else going on right now that we should know about?
Is Linus doing a live?
Yeah, Linus doing a live.
Is Linus doing a live where he's announcing that he's shutting down LMG? That would certainly take some viewers away.
There's my clickbait for the next video.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever been this dead. This is fascinating. Honestly, once again, none of this is being done for any monetary value. This is usually
no, we're just
mining
but we do enjoy the viewer engagement.
Yeah, there's a bit of viewer engagement usually. That's okay.
Yeah, we do enjoy the conversation rather than us idiots just sitting up here.
This is why Podcasters stopped by last week. Now he's like going live at 5 p.m. our time.
Is he actually?
No.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he would. Yeah, I mean, regardless.
Bander is just getting in there.
Yeah,
figured out.
Find out what time he finishes, and we'll go live then.
Yeah.
No, what is the refund day?
So Windows Refund Day in a nutshell was, I think it was a day in the 90s, maybe, when basically a bunch of people were buying PCs, obviously with Windows pre-installed, but these were Linux users. These are people who wanted to buy these computers and install Linux, but they were upset because they're being, essentially, they saw it as we're being charged a percentage of the fee is going towards the Windows distro installed on these systems. We don't want these licenses. Microsoft, take them back and give us our money back for the licenses that came on our machines.
EOM licenses aren't that much.
They aren't, but it was the principle of the thing. So there were a bunch of protests that's spurred up across the states. One of them was outside Microsoft's headquarters. People actually like tried to get in the building and shit. But it was it's the same idea with Apple. It was like, well, okay, so hypothetically, if I went to Apple and said, hey, I want to buy one of your computers, I don't want you to put GarageBand or iMovie. I want these just I'm never going to use these, so just don't allow me access to them. Are you going to discount me? The answer is probably no. But it's an interesting question. I think some people, and the issue with Refund Day, just to cap that story off quickly, was that Microsoft, it was basically a catch-22. The hardware company said it's Microsoft's responsibility to give the refund, and Microsoft said it's the hardware company's to issue the refund. So everyone was going back and forth. It was hot potato. And I don't know. I think some people managed to get refunds from the hardware manufacturers for the price of the OS.
Yeah.
And get the serial number back or whatever. But yeah, it was.
So let me ask you this: if I buy a Scarlett 2i2, it comes with what package? It comes with. It comes with one of the DAWs. Yeah. Which one comes with the Scarlett? That's going to drive me nuts now. I bought a Scarlett.
Is it Cubase AI or something?
It's not. I don't think it's Cubase. I could be wrong. Regardless, it comes with a DAW.
There are lots of interfaces that do come with prepackaged.
I think DAWs. Almost every one of them does now. Like outside of Rodecaster Pro.
Well, and outside of obviously the high end interfaces and converters, it's a different world.
Well, Studio One came with my PreSonus board, so should I be able to get money back if I decide, you know what, I don't need Studio One? Because I don't need Studio One.
No, and I think really this for the companies that are giving you this stuff, they're writing it off because it's a way for them to rope you into their ecosystem.
That's an interesting, to a degree, because they give you the starter version.
I mean, another example of that is, so on my new phone, I mean, my old phone sort of did this too, but whenever there's a site that asks me, when I'm signing up for an account on a new website, it's like, oh, we will create a password for you. And we will store it on your phone, and it'll be accessible by all your iCloud devices. I'm like, well, my PC is not an iCloud device.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you better get a Mac so you can get all your passwords. It's like, I mean, all the companies do it. It's not just Apple. Google does it. Google's really bad for it.
Here's my password manager. Oh, you can't see the video yet, eh?
No, I'm waiting.
You're still a few seconds. Yeah.
My password manager is literally a book. It's like a sheet of paper.
That's basically what I'm showing you. Actually, I just bought this because my old book smells like mold and mildew because it sat in a garage too long. So I've been waiting to get a new password manager, but I don't have anything online. Regardless,
I just don't like them because to me, a second it's on my computer, it could theoretically be hacked. Yeah, it could be hard, but something could screw up.
So then, what's the financial gainplay for Audacity here? Ultimate
That's
Guitar
what I'm having trouble with. There's a piece of the puzzle missing.
But what if they just lied? Or what if they don't?
They could.
What if they keep Audacity free? Okay, Audacity's free.
Yeah.
But now we have the framework for Audacity Pro.
Well, but so they said no tiers, though.
But that's not a tier. That's a completely different program if you call it Audacity Pro.
I would consider it a tier. I'd say that's bullshit.
Not really.
If they tried that, I would call them on it.
To me, a tier is being able to go and unlock the ability to rip to MP3. That's a tier.
Well, that's unlocking product. That's unlocking features. I think I consider that different.
Okay, so
like when I think of tiers, I think of like back in the day, Pro Tools had it was Pro Tools LE, Pro Tools Standard, and Pro Tools HD, which are different tiers of essentially the same software that would unlock different sets of features. That said, I mean,
well, there's that option then too. Maybe they make it you have to unlock the ability to mix down to wave.
Here's the issue. I see they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So the only real advantage of Audacity is the fact that it is free. That is, like, if you're going to pay for it, you might as well pay for something that's maybe a little bit more expensive.
But Ultimate Guitar might be able to make it something that you can transcribe guitar on.
Yeah.
Like that would be.
So if they're going to try and add features to maybe increase the value.
But there's the Pro. There's your Audacity Pro.
And here's the issue is that the second that you start doing what you're suggesting, they're getting into a highly, highly saturated market of DAWs, most of which will blow them way out of the water.
Yeah,
the second they start to charge, they're getting in with the big boys.
But if they can do something surrounding Tab, they would be the ultimate source for that. Because nothing else does
Cubase does tabs.
Cubase tabs?
Yes.
I didn't think Cubase tabbed.
Yeah, Cubase tabs.
My ignorance is showing. I apologize.
No, Cubase or Nuendo. I think maybe both.
Really? I need to pick up Cubase again. I haven't played with Cubase.
Cubase is neat.
It's been like 15 years.
Yeah, Cubase was so back to my history lesson. So Magic's Music Maker was number 1. Then my number 2 and probably one of my first like longest range serious DAWs was Sony Acid. Acid Pro 7.
Yeah, I remember. I almost bought that.
And honestly, Acid to this day, is still a software, and it's now made by Magix. Which is funny because it's like, well, I don't know. Like now, do they have 2 DAWs? What the? No, they had to get rid of one of them. Probably Music Maker because it was definitely entry level. But so then briefly, I used Cubase for I don't know, maybe 6 months. It was a good software.
Why Cubase though? Why were you using that?
Well, because I had it. It was bundled with an interface.
Nice.
Ironically, bundled with a DigiDesign interface, which is the company that makes Pro Tools.
DigiDesign, yeah.
Yeah, so that was before Avid. Anyone who used Pro Tools for a long enough time would remember this. DigiDesign made Pro Tools, and then Avid bought all their assets.
The last time I was a major user of Pro Tools, you had to get a sound card with it.
Yes, which is the DigiDesign era. You had to get Digi-specific hardware, like a M-Box or a 002 or a 192.
Nuno Cosmos, welcome to the show. You are the first.
Well, we never figured. We never figured. Well, first one to comment. Well, you technically commented.
Well, I mean, outside of me, I mean, I just said quiet in here. Lol. How's it going, Nuno? It's been a weird start to the show already.
Yeah.
You know what? I put all this thought into what I was going to use for the title of the show.
I know. We sat there thinking about it, and then you said, I thought that was a good one. I thought that would be a good,
because
good conversation starter.
I think there's a plausible scenario where if Audacity was stepping on anything by Ultimate Guitar, they would just stomp it out. But I think it's more possible that the end of Audacity is the monetization of Audacity, which in today's world makes sense.
They paid money for it, so they have to either get one of two things. They have to get monetary value out of it, monetize it.
Obviously.
Or they have to get some kind of promotional value out of it.
Your milkshake may bring all the boys to the yard. You still got to charge them for the milkshake, though. Is that an app? No?
I don't think so. It should be. It should be.
Dude's talking about milkshakes now.
They're talking about milkshakes on the stream? What the hell?
I just think it's going to be an interesting couple of years. I personally think it's going to be a pro version. So
I'm going to go back to whatever they do, Tinsaffel.
What?
Tinsaffel. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Tinsaffel. And that rings true. The businesses don't ever do anything for free. So they're going to get something out of this. It's just a question of, is it going to be money? Is it going to be pushing people to a paid service, so promotional value? Or is it going to be, are they going to find some way to tie it into like Ultimate Guitar Pro, like a pro account with their site?
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like there's got to be. Yeah. There's got to be some way that they can bank it and bank it hard, because I'm pretty sure they didn't buy it for free. Like
well, again,
I'm trying to remember. I did see the actual cost. 1 second here. Keep him busy.
We're both like typing this up. The reviews and no, I don't want Audacity pricing 2021. What?
I got the Audacity of Hope. That was Wikipedia. That's probably not what we're looking for. Whatever it is, Audacity's become probably the most synonymous with starting audio.
Yeah,
and like
podcast production too.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be possible. Oh yeah, so it's announced that Muse Group, owners of Muse, Score, and Ultimate Guitar. Anyways, I think it's possible they keep it and just
getting away from the commercial aspect, like the money aspect of Audacity, what about the fact that like Audacity, like most of these free tools, is open source? So anyone who wants to contribute can go in and add features.
That can change as easily as...
Yeah, so now with the acquisition for Ultimate Guitar, are they going to change that and lock it up?
Of course they would. Why would they keep it? Why would they keep it open when it's their property? The whole point of it was that you could have people developing for it, but once you have a team, they're probably going to develop their own.
So this is the other thing. So if they're going to close it up, they're going to need to hire a team, which is going to cost them a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money for a free tool.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're going to start getting into a space that, quite frankly, they know nothing about, which is digital audio workstations. At least with an open source tool. And this is assuming they might not close it. They might keep it open source. That would be, in my opinion, because then you can just rely on people that are out in the world that know how DAWs work.
But then what are they going to? You can't monetize. Okay, so this is a controversial statement. This is a controversial statement.
I know what you're going to say. I agree with it.
Audacity is not worth paying for.
No, and I agree.
100%. If you've got to pay for a DAW, go get Audition. It's going to run you $20 a month.
Or even something else like maybe
Reaper.
Even,
you can get Reaper.
Reaper or that other one that is Ableton.
Ableton Live. I think Ableton's what came with the Scarlett. Anyways, you also have the other one that goes along with DaVinci Resolve. So there's the one I forgot what the name of a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's so many options. Why would you pay unless they're going to get Audacity for the bones and write some code for a little bit more of a streamlined version of a DAW than Audacity is? And that's the biggest issue. It's not streamlined.
No.
It's a pain in the ass to do anything. Everything's controlled up in the top. Even splitting audio is a pain in the ass.
Maybe they'll actually charge a little bit of money for it and actually throw in like an MP3 codec in with the fucking software.
Is there no MP3 codec?
No. You have to go and like either download a open source version of it, but it does not come with an MP3 encoder. I don't really care because Audition comes with one in Pro Tools, so I could just use those DLL files. But it's still like, really?
I've never mixed down to MP3 with it. I've never had the need because everything.
I have to because otherwise it don't work.
Oh, that's a pain, eh? Oh, yeah. Regardless of what they do, now they have the bones of a DAW. So they have a DAW that they could spin around and turn into anything they want. And honestly, they're good bones. They're kind of based on Audition.
All this to say is they're walking a tightrope right now with this software. Whatever they do is not going to be easy. I applaud Ultimate Guitar for having the balls to do whatever the hell it is they're planning on doing. Because
and lying
whatever it is,
about
it's
it,
not going to be. It's not going to be easy.
They lied. They are going to be creating some way that they can make money off of it. What I would love to know is whatever happened to Fruity Loops.
FL Studio, I think, is still a thing.
FL Studio is still a thing. You don't hear about Fruity Loops very, very often anymore.
No, because nobody takes it seriously. For a paid software, I knew one guy in college who actually was one of the developers on the team.
Oh, really?
For FL Studio, and he was the only person that I ever knew who would defend Fruity Loops, and we're all just sitting there. All of the rest of our sort of clique, being Pro Tools guys, are all just like, dude, no.
Yeah, please
just
shut
stop.
up.
FL Studio is still a thing.
Wow. I know, like, there's a couple. I used Reason for a little while. I'm not a big fan of Reason.
I love how their marketing tag on FL Studio's site is the DAW powering the world's best music.
Oh. Whose music?
Okay. Really? Who's doing
their music through Fruity Loops right now?
I would be curious to check and see how many hit songs have been made on GarageBand, because I know there are a few.
Oh yeah.
Versus Fruity Loops. Like, how many songs have made it to commercial radio that have been made with either DAW? I guarantee the vast majority are likely Ableton and Pro Tools mixed, but Fruity Loops and GarageBand.
I would Logic Pro's on there. The Logic Pro
is
going to hold its own on there. It's a very popular.
I would say it might be a split third. I think Pro Tools probably has an edge because every major studio uses Pro Tools.
Oh no, I would say Pro Tools definitely has the edge.
It might be like 40-30-30. as far as
you can run Pro Tools on a Mac. So I mean that there.
But if you're on a Mac, you probably just use Logic. Unless you happen to already be a Pro Tools person.
I don't know. Yeah, I know a lot of people who they're still on Mac and they're still rocking Audition or they're rocking Pro Tools. So
I know a lot of people.
And the ability to use a program on different platforms.
Oh yeah.
Unlike Logic Pro X, which
and I think even FL Studio I think is only a PC product.
I've considered building a Hackintosh for the ability to use but it probably won't work well.
Have you ever done it before? Have you ever made a Hackintosh?
It's been years.
So you have though at some point. Okay, I did. It was it took me like a month to get it somewhat stable, and even then I had no audio. The graphics were fuzzy because it only did 720p. And
really?
It was functioning. This was back in 2006.
Oh wow. No, I had I helped a buddy do it in 2011 or 2012.
Okay, maybe it was a little bit more streamlined then.
He was trying to do it with an NVIDIA, and it wasn't where I'm like, no, you need Radeon. He's like, oh, Radeon, and then everything just came to life perfectly.
Which is funny because I mean,
when did the beef between Mac and NVIDIA start, or Apple and NVIDIA?
I don't know, because in 2011 I bought a MacBook Pro and it had an NVIDIA chipset in it for the graphics.
Interesting. Mine was Radeon. So I had a 2011 with the Radeon. So
interesting.
It must have been right around that time where they just ripped all the NVIDIA stuff out.
Was it? You know what time of year was it? Early 2011, late 2011?
Oh god, no! I bought it in 2012. The product was a 2011.
Gotcha. So it must have happened at the end of 2011.
Yeah, or they could have recalled all the products, ripped the NVIDIA out, and threw in Radeon. I wouldn't have put it past them.
They're both good. I mean, it's one of those things. Crossfire, SLI, same shit.
I mean, Radeon definitely has.
Oh man, if there's any gamers that jump in here, I'm gonna get ripped apart.
Yes, you will, and that is if anyone comments on anything. Yeah. So moving on, there, Dylan. You're the one that brought this to me. You didn't even watch the bloody video.
Watch it. Well, because I didn't you didn't say whether we were doing it or not, so I'm like, I'm not gonna waste time and watch this. Possibly not great. Well, not useful content. It'll be great content. It's just whether or not I'm gonna find any value in it.
Oh man, I won't post that link. So the original video was by Linus Tech Tips, and this was when LTD. I don't know why they ended up doing this, but they posted a video about the top 5 mics under $50, and the mics are with Fifine. You know the Fifine mics.
I'm gonna quickly just skim through it.
Basically, you can just look at the description of the video to see the mics.
Oh, perfect.
Because it's got all the
perfect. I don't even have to watch the damn thing. I'd be curious to see what they would say about it. Being people that are they generally have pretty good opinions and intuition about things.
Their XLR setup was the XM8500.
Yeah.
Which was the microphone plus
the better of the two Behringers.
Yeah. This was the Behringer UM2, the stand XLR cable, and the XM8500.
A Snowball.
So they the SM48, the PGA48. Man, I gotta pick up the PGA48. I'm gonna have to find that.
Who's that by?
That's Shure.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure the Shure Oh, wait, I should check that.
Let me click it on Amazon. I'll just follow their affiliate link.
Yeah, it's so many things ripping off. Yeah, PGA48 is a Shure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, man, I should pick. It's $34 US.
They looks
have
small.
So many. It's like they're trying to rip themselves off.
Basically.
All the time.
It looks like the body looks like shallower for some reason than the 58.
We're getting a little bit of sass in the comments now. David says, yeah, they'll monetize. Yeah, Pro Tools. What else do you want to comment about? Love you too, David. Appreciate it, brother. Well, no, how you doing? That's most of what we're looking for comments for. Usually by now the comments have filled up. Although that said, I would have guessed that Bangs is usually the one doing that.
Yep. Bangs and Hintershrimp.
Yeah, Bangs and Hintershrimp. We haven't seen them since last week, so maybe this is just what happens when you lose Bangs and Hintershrimp. So if you were to sit down and you were to put together a best, I would say best mic under $100.
And it can't be a Shure.
It can't be a Shure. It can't be the Shure SM58. And I don't necessarily say I would go with the SM48 because, I mean, it's better than a Behringer, but it's...
Honestly, like, I'm going to be honest now, and I'm not saying this to be a douchebag. I have never bought a mic under $100 other than a Shure.
Well, no, you've got the E835. We're talking U.S. dollars here. The E835 is a $99 mic.
I don't know what anything goes through U.S. I don't live in the States. I'm not American.
Not American. The E835 is a $99 mic. And I would say that would be my pick.
If that's true, and that's barely under that threshold, by the way, then yeah, that would be probably my pick because it is a good mic.
Now, then I also have this for you. If you're going to pair that with the cheapest possible interface you could find. Okay?
Well, okay, the cheapest possible one I could find or the cheapest one that I would actually like get and not puke at.
Not puke. You got to have something that's going to give you...
I would say the Sennheiser UR12.
Not Sennheiser. The UR12
Sorry, the Steinberg S.
Steinberg,
the other S. Steinberg UR12.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, that's actually a decent one. My son had that one. Steinberg's a good name. I mean, nothing... I mean,
Yamaha, technically.
Nothing blows you out of the water with the UR12 at all.
No.
Unusual Audio says the Rode M1. And this is one of those mics that I've been meaning to pick up. I've been picking up a lot of like stuff lately. My most recent is oh man, you're going to hate this, buddy.
Yep.
I got the PD Mic 58 from Pile. Now, you can't see this, but
I don't need to.
It is an SM58 wannabe.
I don't need to.
This thing cost me like $12, I think. $12 or $13. I've been picking up a lot of that stuff. The Rode M1 I've got to pick up. I'm a big supporter. I love Rode products. And it's I think it's $99 or $89 US.
Probably.
So that's one I've got to get on the shelf and actually do a side by side with that to make sure.
I love that adorable little yellow goldish nub that they put on all their stuff.
It's actually kind of a nice touch, man.
It is a nice little touch.
I have considered. I'm actually on the Rode NT2A right now. I've considered retiring it and moving up in the world.
All right. Well, if you're selling it, I'll buy it.
Well, no, I'm gonna keep it.
Asshole.
Oh, hint of shrimp.
Hey, in the house.
I have been summoned. I was just weird to start a live stream and not have
for the
people.
For the first 20 minutes, there was pretty much nobody here.
We went down to only us at approximately 5:31. It was just Dylan and I talking to each other for a while. Good to join us. I'm maybe gonna have to put out an email list so people know when we're going live. Oh wait, you can also click the bell.
Hey, get those notifications.
Yeah, see, and I've been hit with this question probably about 20 times this week. Well, what's the best mic I should get for this, or what's the best interface I should get for this? You know, I got this mic. What's the best interface I should get?
It's like when they say for this, do they say is this a price or like an application?
No, never the application. This is the mic I've got. What is the best interface for this microphone?
So give us an example. What's a price point?
No price point.
Oh, well,
no price point.
You need that.
Well, and that's usually my first question is, what's your budget? To what are you doing with it? Because I mean, what's the best interface for an SM58?
The Apogee AD16X, $3,000.
It's been absolutely crazy this week of people like, okay, well, I've got and I had one kid, and I could tell that the kid wasn't expecting me to answer. However, that was I will wait. That was what he ended his question with. He's like, I want to know the best interface I should have for this microphone. I'm waiting. And so I kind of typed out, okay, so let's go through a few things. What's your budget? $40. Sorry, son. This isn't meant.
What was the mic?
I think it was a Shure SM48. that they
Okay,
had.
so you might be able to get away with one of those janky USB to XLR cables.
No, you cannot. Stop it, Dylan.
What are you gonna get for $40?
You save your money. Or
that is the right answer, but them telling
or
you that
go
assumes...
return the SM48 and get like the fine.
So this might be the engineer in me, but whenever somebody comes to me with a problem, I don't like meeting them with another problem and saying you don't have enough money. I will come to them with a solution. You tell me you have $40, I will find you something that is $40.
For $40.
It's probably gonna suck, but it'll be $40.
Like, if I'm asking you, does that include taxes? We have a problem.
and shipping.
And that's probably one of the biggest like frustrations I ran into this week is people just like
you should just have like if you got one of those mechanical macro keyboards, you should just set one of the key to a text reply and just have it wait, get more money. Wait, get more money.
Yeah, well,
one key.
One of the things that I've continued to try to do with this channel is to answer everyone who, as long as it's not a rude. So I have 2 rules for answering comments on my channel. If it's rude, I won't give you the time of day. I won't touch your comment with.
At least not anymore.
No, well, some people
we used to go in the ring with some of those guys.
Some people I'll go in the ring with if they're belligerent or they call us out in any incredibly rude way, like these guys don't know what they're talking about. I'll actually.
Oh yeah, you've got a couple of those. Yeah.
And I've gone on with those. But if they're just rude, like I don't know, I've had a couple where it's like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, bleh, and I'll just leave it alone and I'll walk away from it.
Well, because there's nothing to go on there. It's just there's nothing constructive to engage with.
The second rule is if you ask me a question that's clearly answered in the video, I am not going to answer that question.
Okay, give us an example of one of those.
One was this week, and there was a guy doing the exact same thing you just did, was like, okay, so will this work with a dynamic microphone? He was talking about the USB to XLR. And the problem is in the video, I tested it out on the most dynamic microphone there is, the SM7B.
Noise balls.
And that's the problem. When you use a dynamic mic and you gain up,
when you use a dynamic mic.
Exactly. So the dude was just like, will it work with a dynamic? I'm like, did you watch the video?
Well, you should say, define work.
Yeah. Work.
Will you get sound into your computer from the microphone? Yes.
Interesting.
Will it sound decent? Will you be able to record mosquitoes farting or any remotely quiet source? Will you be able to record a kick drum? A metal kick with a USB to XLR mic? Absolutely. Because the noise floor, the signal through that is just through the ball wall.
Earthly Descent, welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you comment, so welcome. I've been using Ardor, ARDOUR. Look it up, Dylan. For nearly a year now, it's $6, and I still dig it. It's just as simple as Audacity, but with VST support.
Oh, it's a software. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. You didn't know what I was talking about.
We were talking about mics, so I assumed $6 was like a microphone. I was like, what?
That would suck. You know what?
I mean, it especially sucks if it was good. It's like, why did I spend $4,000 on a Noise Minute?
I also forgot there's no VST support on Audacity.
No, it's all AU, I think.
What's AU?
Another plug-in format
that nobody uses.
Well, no, there's a lot like GarageBand uses AU.
Does it?
Sony Acid used AU. I think even Cubase is. I think Cubase is pretty much locked into VST because that's Steinberg's a wrapper.
So GarageBand doesn't use VST at all.
No, Pro Tools doesn't use VST.
Oh, really?
Yep. Pro Tools has AAX. It used to be RTAS, but it's now AAX, which is all VST is a wrapper.
Yeah. So no, I know that.
Most big plug-in companies, like generally, if you get Isotope or Waves, it comes with like every format of those.
Oh,
plugins.
Okay, all right, that makes sense then. Apparently, it's free on Linux to get Ardor. I actually kind of want to try it for $6.
I'll give it credit for $6. I mean, it looks certainly a lot sexier than Audacity does.
Well, that's not hard. Windows 95 is not hard to beat.
It isn't, but like I don't know. I'm just looking at a glance here. I like the meters. It looks like it's quite functional considering it's $6. In fact, it actually looks It even looks better than Ableton, which is in the 3-figure.
Yeah, and
area.
Ableton's another one that looks a little dated. Well, okay,
It does.
Ableton looks dated. So does Pro Tools.
Now Pro Tools looks good.
Does it? When did that happen?
Well, define dated. I don't know. I don't. If they incorporate gradients into their texture scheme, I generally don't call that dated.
If it's pre-Windows Vista, if it looks like it came from an era of pre-Windows Vista, it's dated.
I feel like I took a picture of Pro Tools and sent it to somebody recently. I'll send you this in Facebook, and you can tell me if you think it looks dated. Again, I honestly think now it looks quite good.
Okay, well, in comparison to what it used to, like I got the
but let's set a starting. So what, like, pick a DAW that doesn't look dated.
Studio One looks fantastic.
You're biased. You have it.
Well, no, I'm just saying it looks fantastic. Studio One looks good. I don't think, depending on the type of DAW you're looking for, I think Audition looks good as well. I don't think Audition looks dated.
I don't know. I looks a little bit better than it did, but I think Pro Tools are not.
We have one. FL Studios looks nice. Hint of shrimp. We were wondering how many people still use Fruity Loops. Hint of shrimp. That's awesome. Bangs joins us. I'm just glad Pro Tools doesn't have a supported hardware list anymore.
No. Yeah. Thank God. Thank God for Avid. Thank God for Avid buying them and opening that up a little bit. And
okay. Like I was saying earlier, I ended up you had to buy your own, or the sound card to go along with it, or it just wouldn't work. That was trash. That was
but the nice thing is yes, it cost extra, but Pro Tools was quite stable. I found actually most of the stability issues with Pro Tools came in the infancy before. So when Avid opened it up to other interfaces but didn't rewrite the audio engine, I found Pro Tools was throwing way more DAE errors like crazy. And then when they did the mammoth rewrite for Pro Tools 11 and Avid made their own audio engine, it was a lot better.
Oh, Earthly Descent brought something good up. VST support for Studio One behind a paywall. Probably the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. And it pissed me off so bad because I've got the Artist 4 or whatever it is. It's the one down from the Pro version. And the upgrade's only $200. Which isn't bad for a fully functioning DAW that you can do pretty much everything with. Like Studio One will do everything you can do with Pro Tools.
Yeah, but it's not $6. I think I might actually this weekend. I might get this thing because I'm now like
Ardor.
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 I'm calling it that because it makes it sound high class. It's like saying Target instead of Target.
Hint of Shrimp says, I make EDM in my downtime, so I love Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops or Ableton are kind of the go-tos for EDM. I think one thing that actually Pro Tools doesn't have, as much as I am such a Pro Tools fanboy, there's one thing that Pro Tools doesn't do yet, and it pisses me off, and that is MPE, MIDI polyphonic expression.
Yeah.
Which is basically for anyone that has ever used the Rolly Seaboard or the Continuum or any of the other polyphonic expressive interfaces that are available. Pro Tools doesn't natively support that. You have to set up like a one channel per note basically, which is super annoying. Whereas Studio One has MPE support, I'm pretty sure. I know Ableton has it. I'm pretty sure Logic I don't think has it actually. But it's like, this has been around for years. What the hell, Avid?
Earthly Descent. I love this. Cakewalk is free, but dear me, it's bloated. Cakewalk is the first DAW that I got on my own computer. So the first one I used was eMagic Logic, which was a major precursor to Logic Pro X. But Cakewalk was the one that I picked up, and I don't know if it was free at the time. I remember the guy that built my first computer, which was a Pentium 100, back in the day. He gave me a copy of it for the computer, but he was also known for some shady practices of, you'd have that CD with a bunch of different programs on it. So Cakewalk used to be my bane. I don't even know what cakewalk looks like nowadays. The last time I saw it was 98, I think, or 99.
I've never personally used it, so I can't really cast a judgment. But I've heard lots of people that I respect that say it's actually not bad.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, considering where it's at as far as the pecking order in the market goes, it's not bad.
Yeah,
not bad from what I've heard.
Reaper is massively skiable.
No idea.
That's bangs. I'm not sure what skiable means. Studio One has multi because of support for the Atom controllers. Yeah. So when we're going back to actual DAWs that look good, so you got Studio One, Adobe Audition isn't bad. Logic Pro X is Apple, so it looks fantastic, no matter what you do with it. Outside of that, you're sending me a picture of this, eh? Is that what just came through?
That's in a commercial session, so it looks particularly boring, but
yeah, that's not bad. It's gotten better. Okay, I'll give you that.
It has two themes. That's dark mode. I like dark mode.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of it. They just added that in November.
So it's on par with Adobe Audition now, I'd say.
That's why when you're mentioning Adobe's modern, it's like, well, if Adobe's modern, then PT is pretty much back.
Yeah, like that's not bad. That's something that I could get behind. I can't deal with Windows 95 interfaces anymore. Anything that looks like that.
Like Audacity.
Skinnable, not skiable. Reaper is massively skinnable. That's interesting.
Which I guess if you are, on the topic of graphics, if you are somebody that is interested in having different layouts and such and different looks, then that's a bonus.
That is actually huge. That's if you have a specific workflow that you're used to, having to switch, like one of the reasons why I struggle with going back to Pro Tools is Pro Tools has nothing for you for customizing your workflow.
No. And again, I've got, easily 10,000 plus hours in that software. So for me, my workflow has adapted to Pro Tools. So now when I go into Adobe, I find I'm setting it up like Pro Tools because I'm just and I'm most efficient with the Pro Tools workflow.
But even Studio One is something that you can kind of set it up the way you want it. Nothing is like...
Well, again, I think the reason is because Pro Tools, the vast majority of the people, the clientele of Pro Tools are major recording studios.
Yeah.
And so for a major recording studio, like as a producer or an engineer, if I'm walking into some random studio in Nashville, I want to be able to cop a squat, sit down and go. I don't have to sit here and go, okay, what shortcut key did they set up to do that and this and that? No, I want to just be able to go, which is why I think one of the big reasons why Pro Tools is set up the way that it is, as rigid as it is.
Rigid. It's been an hour, and it feels like it hasn't been because people.
No, because we only have engagement in the last.
Yeah, people just started showing up, and we're sitting at 16 right now, which I gotta say, it's still nice to see everybody come out. I appreciate that. It's nice to have the interaction on the line. Oh yeah. No, we had one more thing we were going to talk about here. I can't let you go. This is the big one. Well, not the big one, but I got a job teaching college how to podcast.
Woo!
This is actually the school both of Dylan and I went through. I looked at the subthread and you were not listed. Don't go. What? Anyways, the school that both Dylan and I went to when we were going through for radio. I'm still friends with a lot of the professors there, and they reached out to me and they said, hey, would you mind coming on to teach half a semester as a podcast professor? So they kind of lamented about the channel and how they were using a lot of my content for their classes. So it just made sense because I've got a lot of how to podcast stuff in there. You okay, Dylan? You look like you're taking a dump, and it's not.
I'm just trying
to
figure out what that second last comment means.
Second last. I looked at the subthread, and you were not listening.
No idea.
I don't know either.
I have no idea.
I don't know if it was Hintashrim. Hintashrim said, "Don't go." Okay, I'm staying. Hardware 2 wants to know what mics we're using. Dylan,
yes.
Go.
Oh, but you go first. You're the host.
Fine. Rode NT2A. This is plugged directly into my AudioFuse Studio, and that is the signal path. There's nothing in between.
Nice.
Dylan?
I'm using just a run-of-the-mill, old-school RE 2020, straight up. and it's going into a Mackie Pre, into a DBX 166 XL, then back out of that into some soundscape converters. And I don't use this for VO. I just use this thing literally for Teams and this stream, and that's basically it. For VO, I use my SM7, which just goes straight into some preamps and such. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I do have a couple things here. First, Hardware says thanks. Everyone's saying that they didn't get a notification for this stream.
I did.
By the way,
as we started the stream, I literally saw the.
By the way, guys, I'm not yelling at you for not showing up. You're welcome to do as you want. Oh, look at that! Dark Corner Studios went live.
Yeah.
For some reason, I went and looked.
For some reason,
I have no idea why.
I was
like, I should be doing something here. Here's a good question. Now, I'm going to throw this one out. I have a feeling Bangs might know something about this. Maybe Unusual Audio. We'll see. Hinter Shrimp, actually, maybe as well. I'm looking for a way to do some root or ceiling mounted gear. So, like, to have a ceiling mounted microphone would be nice. Like, kind of in your stream right now, it almost looks like you have ceiling mounted stuff because you're pulling it down from.
What's your ceiling? Drop ceiling, or is it drywall, or what?
I have a drop ceiling, but okay. I can mount through it onto this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on what the weight of what you're dealing with is, I mean, and obviously what your ceiling tiles are like, you might just be able to fix it straight. Like it. I wouldn't hang speakers from the ceiling.
Yeah, but what are you using to hang it from? So, like, I can't hang a Rode and PSA 1, obviously. That doesn't work that way.
No. Oh, you're talking about actual mounting hardware. You're not
the hardware. What hardware are you using to mount ceiling mount? Like, for one, my lights. So I'm going to be changing out these lights at some point in the near future. And I want to put up ceiling mounted proper video lights with the softbox and all that stuff on them. What would you mount that with?
Yeah, I have seen ceiling mounted mic mounts before. But the thing that I found about them, and back when I would do ceiling mounted stuff for room mics for choirs and stuff, for example, in installations, I wouldn't use them because they're oftentimes drastically overpriced. If anybody has found some that aren't, feel free to put them in the comments.
Well, because I can use actual pipe. Like I can go and
no, what I usually do is I just get a cheap mic stand and I just weld it to like a thread and then
you can also thread it and get pipe threading and just thread it onto a pipe attachment that goes up top, and that'll be fine. I didn't want to MacGyver it though. Like I know Manfrotto arms work, like especially the tension arms. Those things work. But then those are also $400 a foot, it seems, when you're going to look for them.
That's the thing is the problem with the ceiling mounted stuff is because it's so specialized, the price goes up 3 times what it probably should be.
I just want it off the floor. And like I want to be able to run the power up through the ceiling tiles and down. Something like that would be fantastic.
The power? What are you putting on the ceiling?
Lights, man. So I can run the power up through the ceiling tiles.
What kind of lights?
Well, soft boxes,
video lights. Soft boxes.
Yeah, video lights.
Well, yeah. So getting ceiling mounts for lighting stuff. Like for example, I know I've got a scrim mount that uses the same threading that most lighting fixtures use, and I think that those 2 double scrim mounts, so you just hang the scrim across the 2 pieces that both go into the ceiling. I think those 2 together were like $65.
Oh, nice.
Which wasn't actually that bad, considering they're adjustable and everything.
I use LEDs right now, as you can see behind me. I've got their LED bulbs, which are great. I love them.
LEDs aren't bad, provided they have good, like they're rectified properly and you don't have an issue with flickering.
No, there's no flickering. These things are fantastic, actually. They've made my videos nice and crispy. No problems with them whatsoever. However, I do at some point want to move to something that's like, for example, you can get the big rig for having an over-the-top camera because I want camera down. I want to be able to have a shot of my workbench or whatever I'm unboxing or working on, and that would have a camera mounted over top of the table, which you can get the big, kind of like a C mount or a C stand, but it goes all the way across. So I'm probably going to end up getting one of those just so I can have different camera angles instead of in front.
just on Bangs' point, yeah. I've got in the studio right now, just as sort of architecture lighting, we'll call it. It's all LED. But for filming and stuff, I either have my soft boxes, which are CFL, which I hate. I hate the color rendering of CFLs. Then for other stuff, I've got halogen, like big sealed beam halogen, like 450 watt bulbs.
Oh, that's nothing. So I've got this. Dylan, you're not going to see it for a few seconds.
But 4 of them.
Yeah. I've got my old boss. Well, my boss actually at the moment. He owns the radio station that I work for. He put something on Facebook. He said, "I've got studio lights, $50. They're top of the line from the 90s. Lights still work." I'm like, well, I'll take those. I'm running a studio here. So I went and picked them up, 600-watt bulbs.
Mm-hmm. What kind of bulb are they? Are they PARs or are they?
Can you see this on here? So
no. Well, let me see. Hang on. Let me scroll
come on, get the video up. So I've got this.
It's up. It's just super laggy. Like there's like a 30-second lag.
Is it 30 second? Maybe there's just a problem with YouTube right now. So this 120 volt, 600 watt. This is the more consistent bulb that I have through the set.
Okay.
And I've got one of the linear bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point to point. I forget what they PAL or not PAL. I'm not very good with these lights. I warmed up my room with them in the winter. Yeah. Like I turned them on and it kept me warm while doing my morning show. Tungsten. There we go.
Tungsten's so inefficient.
Yeah, Bang says, and this is right, the issue is you're building a set, so it has to look nice. I'm also building my set in my house. So right behind me is a TV, is kind of a living room setup, and I'm in the middle of the room. So whatever I do is going to be impacting the living quarters of the other area. So I want to make sure, one of the reasons I wanted ceiling mounted is it no longer interferes with everything on the ground.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I'm gonna be a film nerd here, and I'm gonna say that there are some LEDs that can replace halogen as far as the color rendering, because the color rendering of most budget LEDs is absolute shit. If you ever take a light meter and as well, CFLs are worse, granted, but like CFLs, you put them in front of a light sensor and you get like a big spike right at red, a big spike at green, and a big spike at red, and nothing in between.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons why CFLs have horrible color rendering. But you can get LEDs, but one of the reasons why halogen is so good is because the color rendering is amazing.
If analog versus digital.
Well, it's not even that.
But it's kind of the same thing.
LED light is analog. All light is analog, technically. But the issue is that, for example, I'm a big fan of gels. Like I'll take my halogen lamps and I'll use gels on them, because gels, as opposed to even RGBAW, which has better color rendering for most than like RGBA or even RGBA, is still, and especially the price point. In order to buy those LEDs that are as good as that, you're talking in the 4 figures here.
Well, no, they've got some good
proper film lights.
The 300D is,
and even then they usually say get LEDs that are white and gel them. Like I've watched I've seen video guys talk about this, and they will actually still they won't get the RGBA stuff, or if they do, they'll calibrate it to like the perfect neutral white, and then they'll gel them.
Yeah, the Aperture Lightstorm 300D, it's $1,300.
Yeah,
that's 4 figures, I guess. That's one of the. That's one of the top. They do also have
it'll be low 4 figures or lower 4 figures, but still.
That's not necessarily the one I want to get, because I can't afford $2,600 on lights alone. By the way,
whereas just for contrast, you can get a Parcan with a bulb in it and gels for $50.
Yes, but then you're going to watch me sweat the whole time. Okay, I got to cover a couple of these. Hint Shrimp says, I used to be friends with a dude who turned out to be dangerous schizophrenic. Okay. He used an SM58 and is the first person to teach me about mics. He went insane. The next day I found your channel.
Well, that is an interesting story.
Not sure why I'm telling you this. I guess I'm explaining my colorful background. That's awesome. Residential ceilings don't have great mount points. I'm pretty handy with construction, and I can, drop ceiling up here is straight to joists.
I was going to say, I think your ceiling looks solid just from what I can see in the video there. It looks
LED is quantum. All other lights are black body.
Black body radiation.
Oh, Hint of Shrimp says, okay, we've gotten to the part of the show where it sounds like y'all are speaking different language.
But
so
black body and quantum, we were just saying whether it's analog or digital. Black body and quantum are both still analog. If you want us to go back to the analog argument. But yes, technically, light emitting diodes are quantum radiation.
Now, I get it. I was
particle radiation.
I was using an analogy, guys.
You were being analogous.
Analogous. Old school tungsten pars are really tempting. So much light, so little money. I don't want to burn my house down. That is not necessarily burning my house down, but I'm a sweater. I sweat under hot lights.
And also, like, just for the sake of the environment, they are not efficient. They're 450 watts for times,
a direct replacement. Then quantum ain't no analog, bangs. I think I'm gonna have to let you guys fight this one out. Thanks for joining, guys. My wife's gonna get mad at me if I'm not up for dinner soon. So she gave me a dirty look while she was walking by with the laundry, which usually means, why am I doing this when you're just sitting there on the computer? That's the I know
she should be used to it on Friday at 5 now.
I
guess it's after our usual time span.
Yeah,
so.
it's gone a little long, but thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you letting me know about no one getting any of the notifications. I'll look into that. I'm pretty sure you see a lot of people complaining about this on Twitter, so I'm guessing I'll just become one more of them. But yeah, it's I get to talk to the Twitter bot for YouTube. Other than that, yeah, I guess have yourself a great week. Oh, the video I've got coming up. 1 second, Dylan. Hold that thought.
Dun, dun, dun. What's he doing?
So Dylan knows that I bought this microphone. It's the Shure Unidyne B515AC. Video coming up on Monday is going to be the whether or not this 60-year-old microphone that smells like my grandfather's ass after smoking cigarettes for 20 years or a Behringer. And it's actually a clear-cut win. I'm not saying who won, but I'm saying it's a clear-cut win. You're going to want to see this video because one of the biggest things, the takeaways from this video was listening to a mic by itself doesn't tell you everything. Flat out. When you get two mics side by side, you actually learn more about the character of a microphone, unless you have a pro ear like probably Dylan, who will say, no, you can tell. No, I couldn't tell until I actually put mics side by side. It's going to be a fascinating video. Check it out. And one thing that Unusual Audio said was maybe do a pre-show thing like you see on Twitch, 30 minutes starting soon type thing.
Yeah, because Banks is saying he didn't even get, not even no notification, but wasn't even listed.
Yeah.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
No, like, and I know that a lot of people who have it, the bell hit, like it was happening to me with Linus. I don't get it until like 45 minutes after it started. The WAN show.
I'm assuming you used. Have you tried the bangs, the quick releases?
I saw them. I've got them up on my YouTube. They're not on sale in Canada, where we are.
Shh, we're talking to bangs.
So I'm gonna actually pick them up. I think they're $70 for a 3-pack, and then
you're saying it's 26. You just said.
That's US.
But 70 is not 26. Like
no,
I don't know,
said that because they're on sale in the US right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were saying like 76 equals 26. I'm like, no. I mean, even in our worst currency day.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick them up. They're $76. Plus, it's a pack of 3, but then you can get the added-on extras for the extra mics, which I'm going to do. I'll probably get a 5-pack of those so I can just start swapping mics out. And then I'm just going to keep getting the extras. Because I really only...
subscribe, but no bell.
You don't need to bell it. Whatever. I'll check.
Aiden would appreciate it if you did.
No, you hit the bell or you don't.
He wouldn't say no.
It don't matter. Yeah, 5-pack. I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll have all of my mics because I only have 3 boom arms that I have to worry about, and then I can just like hot swap between them all.
A message, dude, man, guy.
All right, Bangs, I think you're the only one left. Nuno's, thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. I might try the pre-show thing. So if you guys get a notification, it's just a pre-show. I promise I won't make it anything longer than 10 minutes. I think that might, because I think more than 10 minutes is too much. You know what? Actually, I'll put up a poll on that.
I think our problem is the second you do a pre-show, we have to like commit to a time.
Well, I can commit.
One of us, like 80% of the time, one of us is late.
Well, I can commit. I can come on. I can start the live stream myself, and you can come on midstream.
Yeah, you can try to set it up.
We could do that. So we'll see. I'll actually do up a stream poll to see what people think of pre-shows. I've seen some people that get annoyed by it, so who knows. But have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll see you nice and early on Monday. I think the videos drops at 11. So cheers, guys.
Nice. Oh, yeah, so early.